Hello, friends. Paul Finebaum said Ryan Grubb is the main reason for Alabama's impressive comeback. The Alabama Crimson Tide season has been a striking example of resilience and excellence in college football, especially after a frustrating first-week loss that could have shaken any team. However, under Kalen DeBoer's leadership and with Ryan Grubb's strategic genius, the team not only recovered but also established itself as one of the main protagonists of the SEC this year. Paul Finebaum's analysis during the Get Up program puts into perspective how impressive this turnaround was, with Grubb being pointed to as the great architect of this rebirth. Since his arrival in Alabama, Ryan Grubb has proven to be an elite offensive strategist, capable of adapting his scheme to the characteristics of his players while maintaining efficiency and creativity as his trademarks. His temporary departure to Seattle at the start of Kalen DeBoer's tenure created uncertainty about the future of the Crimson Tide's offense. But his return was the necessary turning point to transform a promising team into an unstoppable machine. Grubb's work goes beyond the basics. He manages to get the most out of each player, especially Ty Simpson, whose evolution this year is a direct reflection of the offensive coordinator's qualities. Finebaum highlighted something crucial when he stated that Alabama's recovery was not just the result of individual talent, but rather the result of creative planning and intelligent adjustments. When many questioned DeBoer's continued tenure after that shaky start, Grubb was behind the scenes building the foundations for a memorable campaign. He brought calm and discipline to an offense that, although talented, needed cohesion. The way he distributes responsibilities within the system ensures that Ty Simpson has the time and space to operate, while the receivers and offensive line execute their roles with surgical precision. Ty Simpson's growth also deserves highlighting, but it's impossible to separate it from Grubb's influence. The quarterback has been a central piece in this resurgence, leading the team with impressive numbers: 18 touchdown passes and only one interception this season. This relationship of trust between the player and his offensive coordinator is evident on the field. Jordan Rodgers, another ESPN analyst, highlighted Simpson's ability to manipulate the pace and trajectory of the ball, skills that are constantly refined thanks to Grubb's meticulous work. It's not just about arm strength or mobility outside the pocket, but a combination of tactical intelligence, technical precision, and game vision that Grubb has managed to hone in Simpson. But Ryan Grubb's impact goes beyond individual statistics or accumulated wins. He brought a winning mentality to Alabama, something that was expected from such a traditional program, but which seemed to be lost in crucial moments recently. The defense, always solid with Pete Golding, now finds a perfect complement in the dynamic offense led by Grubb. This synergy between the two sides of the ball has made the Crimson Tide virtually unbeatable since that initial loss. With Ryan Grubb at the helm of the offense and Ty Simpson elevating his game with each match, there's a growing sense that Alabama is not only back at the top of the SEC, but also poised to contend for the national title. The narrative built throughout this season is one of a team that overcame adversity, adjusted its focus, and found in its offensive coordinator the necessary difference maker to reach new heights. For Alabama fans, watching Grubb in action is witnessing the construction of something special. He not only revitalized the offense, but also proved to be the balancing point that Kalen DeBoer needed to solidify his legacy in Tuscaloosa. And as Paul Finebaum rightly pointed out, he is the main reason why Alabama is now seen as the team to beat. The possibility of Nick Saban returning to head coaching amidst the frenetic offseason of college football has generated a wave of speculation among fans and analysts. With high-level vacancies like LSU, Penn State, and Florida open, it was inevitable that the name of the most iconic coach of the sport's modern era would come up in conversations. After all, Saban not only built an unparalleled legacy at Alabama, but he was also the architect of LSU's last national title in 2003 before his legendary run in Tuscaloosa. However, as he himself recently made clear, the idea of returning to the field seems to be out of the question. During his appearance on College Game Day, a program he has hosted since his retirement in early 2024, Saban was direct in answering about his future. "I like my team here," he stated, referring to his current role at ESPN and his distance from the daily pressures of head coaching. This statement echoed comments he had previously made on the Pat McAfee show, where he was even more emphatic in saying that he has no interest in returning to the coaching position. For LSU fans, or any other program that dreamed of his return, the message was clear. Saban is satisfied with his new phase. The decision to retire was not easy for Saban, who cited his age as one of the main reasons for ending his career on the field. At over 70 years old, he acknowledged that the fast pace and constant demands of college football were beginning to take their toll. Furthermore, the ever-changing landscape of the sport, driven by free agents, transfer portals, and the growing influence of money in college football, likely also played a significant role in his choice. Saban has always been known for his ability to adapt to change, but even he may have felt it was time to pass the baton to the next generation of coaches. Although some LSU fans still harbored hopes of seeing Saban return to Death Valley, that prospect was always more fanciful than realistic. Saban himself had made it clear that his retirement was not a temporary pause, but rather a definitive transition to a new phase of his life. His work at College Game Day has been a natural extension of his personality, educational, engaging, and deeply connected to the sport that shaped his career. He remains an influential voice in college football, but now without the overwhelming responsibilities that come with coaching. The current state of the sport also reflects a larger trend: the aging of historical figures and the rise of new names seeking to fill the void left by icons like Saban. While programs like LSU, Penn State, and Florida seek to stabilize their franchises with coaches capable of competing in the long term, it's important to remember that Saban's impact goes far beyond his presence on the field. He helped shape modern college football, and his physical absence from the sidelines does not diminish his influence on the game. For Alabama fans, Saban's retirement marks the end of a golden era, but it's also an opportunity to celebrate all that he has accomplished and will continue to represent for the program and the sport. And while the temptation to imagine Saban back on the sidelines is understandable, his decision to remain away demonstrates a wisdom that few coaches manage to achieve, knowing when it's time to step aside and allow the next chapter to begin. Share your opinion.